taken from the records of a local news station that plans to do a story on the John Frie case. This is the transcript of an interview with prison guard Jordan McMillan. The news story was canceled when the prison refused to allow Frie to be interviewed, citing the camera lens as a danger. John Frie entered Jackson State Penitentiary on May 31st of 2013. The charge was armed robbery, for which he pled guilty. I haven't really reviewed the details of the case. I guess I'm too scared to, but I imagine he wanted to be caught. He wanted a stage for his little show. He wanted to be watched. His first cellmate was Charlie Shea. Frie was a little guy, maybe 90 pounds at a stretch. We picked Shea because he was pushing 70 and was in for 3 strikes. We figured the two of them really couldn't mess with each other much. I remember the first thing Frie did was go over to the mirror at the cell sink and examine it. He ran his hand over his face like he was trying to decide if he needed a shave, but he didn't shave. He just walked over and laid down in his cot. The next morning, Shea was dead of a heart attack. We didn't think much of it, but it left us with a half-empty cell, so we had to move someone in. Somehow, Willie Heidel got picked. Don't ask me how. The guy was built like a wall and had a temper. When we put him in, we all whispered a prayer that Frie knew to keep his mouth shut. The next morning, Heidel was dead of an embolism. We didn't really think anything of it at first. I mean, yeah, we were all saying, this shit is weird, but we weren't blaming Frie. I mean, what the fuck did he have to do with it, except being in the goddamn cell? But you know, in jail rumors get spread. It's a place where a guy sleeps with his girlfriend the night before her 18th birthday, and everyone hears he raped a 12-year-old. So during lunch, Frie was confronted by Mickey Hives. All Mickey knew was that Frie had 2 roommates die in 2 nights. He didn't know the details, but he already thinks Frie did it. He only gets 1 punch in before Donnie Cass pulls him away. Good thing for Frie at least. 1 more punch, I don't think he would have survived. So we get him down to the medical unit, and he's asking for a mirror to see how he looks. He says he feels fine and would just like to rest. So they give him a once-over, clean up the blood, and schedule him for an appointment with the dentist. Then they give him his mirror. This is where we first started noticing things getting weird. John, he just holds the mirror up to his face and he stares at it. He stares at it for a good 20 minutes. All the time, the nurses just leave him alone, but they're all looking at him, just staring at that mirror. Well, they look at him until Mickey gets there. Now the first 2, they were nothing personal, so Frie killed them in their sleep. But he wasn't nice to Mickey. His throat swelled up and he basically choked on it. He didn't have allergies or anything like that. It just happened. So he gets pulled in, clawing at his own throat. They give him all the stuff you give people with peanut allergies and shit, but it didn't help. He didn't have any allergies. He just had John Frie after him. We left Frie in the medical wing for a while after that, while we decided what to do. I mean, we couldn't prove he was killing people, and he's still being real polite. When he gets his baked potato, he's still saying, "Thank you," like he's just so grateful. But eventually, we decide we have to put him in solitary, just to be sure. He doesn't complain. The next morning, when I brought him his breakfast, I heard him whisper, "Anything bad happen to Lottenberg?" Then he reaches out real gentle and lays this little tiny piece of tinfoil in the food slot, maybe an inch square, that he got off the baked potato. That was the morning of June 4th. June 3rd, Senator Frank Lottenberg died of pneumonia. Yeah, Lottenberg was old. But you want to test it? Could all be coincidence. But since then, no mirrors and nothing shiny. No, we don't know what the mirrors had to do with it, but he hasn't killed again without them. He hasn't left solitary since, but he hasn't asked to. Every morning when I bring him his food, he just stares at me smiling. wondering when he gets to put on the next act of his little show.